SteveLoganShow.com.
And now, you just crossed over into the Logan Zone. From ECU Pirate football to the whole college landscape to basically anything else that's on his mind, Coach Steve Logan's talking about it now.
You don't coach at East Carolina. You don't come to East Carolina. You don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart.
Tweet at Steve Logan Show with your takes or call 252-561-GAME for your spot in the Logan Zone. Brought to you by Bill Clark Homes, Greenville Utilities, and Bojangles. Now, here's Steve Logan.
Welcome into the Logan Zone, second to last week of the season here in the 2025-2026 season of the Logan Zone. Philip Pilkington here alongside the coach, Steve Logan. No football this week, Coach. I guess they've got what used to be the Pro Bowl that's turned into, I don't know, I don't even watch it anymore. But they got that, so I probably won't be tuning into that. It's kind of a relaxing week, huh, Coach?
Well, we OD'd on football last week, and I know I did because it started out on Friday and ran all the way through Monday, and I was having to carve out time to just go get some kind of a workout because I was joining the couch potato army last week, and that's not healthy. But man, what a show it was last week! We commented on it on our show last week, but the drama of that Rams-Seahawks game that I think you and I both agreed it was probably the Super Bowl. Probably. Now, I think the Patriots are going to show up and going to be they're a proud franchise, but what I saw from those two teams, gosh almighty, what a fantastic football game. And, there's a good chance that, let me put it this way. I think New England's going to have to get some help with a turnover. Or, how about this, Philip? A dropped punt. Could that change a game?
I think it might. Something is recent in my memory. I just can't figure out where it is, that if you muff a punt, maybe it costs you a football game.
Okay, I want to share this. This is a little bit of an inside story. In my own little life, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got a phone call that has changed my life again from a man named Chris Redmond that wanted to know if I would join him in the United Football League and be the offensive coordinator for his football team. And I was tickled to death and humbled and said yes. And Chris is an 11-year NFL veteran backup quarterback, so he's been in and out of football his whole life. His dad's a football coach. So this young man, Chris Redmond, he's retired now from the NFL, and he coached high school football for about the last 3 or 4 years in Louisville. And suddenly this opportunity came to him, and I'm getting back to the punt deal. So he says to me in this initial conversation, he said, I'd like for you to come and, run the offense. And he didn't get much further into that statement right there. And Philip, honest to goodness, do you want to know what Steve Logan said to Chris Redmond at that point?
You asked him who was coaching the special teams.
I kind of did, but really what I said to him, I said, Chris, before you start building your roster, promise me we'll get a punt catcher. And it was kind of a conversation stopper. And he said, why are you saying that? And I said, because, Chris, in my journey of 46 years of fighting the fight, I've learned that if your punt team or your punt return team isn't properly prepared every week, and you don't have a punt catcher, somebody that's reliable, we will lose 1 to 2 football games exactly from that unit and that unit alone. I don't care if we score 50 points or if we've got the old New York Giant defense. We won't win. And so I'm on the couch watching the Rams-Seahawks game, and this kid from the Rams, God help him, because, he'll have to live with this the rest of his life, but he drops this punt. My phone buzzed immediately, and I was on the same page. I texted Coach Redmond. I said, see what I mean? And he was like, oh, my God. I said, yeah, that's it right there. And even though that was early, in the second half maybe, But
Yeah,
we all
early
knew.
third quarter. Yeah,
Yeah, but suddenly you lose a possession, the other team scores, and from that moment on, I used to talk to my staff about this at East Carolina. I'd say, when and if that happens, do you understand that we have to score once to catch up and one more time to go ahead? It's a two-score event almost every time. And what a catastrophe. So anyway, there's my little comment on just please God, would you catch the punt? And but yeah, last weekend the football, what a festival! It was a football festival. Which before we run off into that deal, real quick, I want to make sure that you, being our frontline reporter for all things East Carolina, give all the Pirate fans a little dose of the latest yak in Pirate Land.
yeah. I think a lot of Pirate fans, Coach, have now looked at the tape on the young man from Miami, and they're starting to feel a little better about that on the football side. But other than that, there's not a lot of football stuff going on in Greenville right now. I think everybody's kind of turned their attention to the other two sports. Now the portal is closed. Basketball, there's some colorful language maybe being used on some message boards and social media to describe the basketball team. And on top of that, everybody is just pumped up for this deep pitching staff that the baseball team has, and they're realizing that college baseball is now 15 days away. And I think that's kind of where everybody's turning their heads. Football workouts, as you know, Coach, have started, but this is not something fans or the media has really any access to. It's all conditioning. Right. You're not using a football. It's just workouts. So, around football, just a whole lot of nothing.
So we go football to baseball at East Carolina, right?
Yeah. So, I've been here, it's my 9th year, and that's kind of what I've learned.
Well, by the way, to join into this free-for-all radio show that we're doing right now on your radio or your laptop or wherever you're listening to us, you can give me a call at 252-561-4263, or you can hit me with a question at Steve Logan Show on the Twitter. But here's my little I'll invite anybody to call in. Here's a what would you call this, a tease for the audience?
Yep.
Coach Logan, Steve Logan, I rolled into Greenville, America in the spring of 1988, okay? And I get to East Carolina, and I began this little journey that became kind of a life work. I spent maybe a total of 15 years employed there, counting my 3 years as an assistant coach and head coach. I don't even know what it was. But the biggest mystery in the history of sport is simply this. All sport, I'm talking all sport, the biggest mystery is this. Why can East Carolina not present just a competitive basketball team? I don't want to go win the championship. I don't want to win the conference championship. I don't want to do anything but just I want everybody to call in and tell me the answer to that mysterious question, okay, from 1988 to 2026 is a grand total of 38 conscious years for this particular individual, Steve Logan, to have observed, and there have been these tiny little blips, Philip, just tiny. My good friend, God rest his soul, Eddie Payne, was the head basketball coach early in my career at East Carolina. We became best of friends. And he tragically passed away with a stroke about 5 years ago at the age of 69, which is one of the all-time mysteries of my life. But Eddie Payne got East Carolina's basketball kind of competitive and actually went to the dance of 64 and played the University of North Carolina in the first round. I remember that. And, of course, they got beat, but that was okay, wasn't it? And ever since then, I just don't know. I think there was a coach that was brought in my latter years at East Carolina named Bill Harrion. And Bill got them kind of, 12 and 12-ish. But okay, anybody that can call in and give us the answer to the mystery of East Carolina basketball automatically wins the Bojangles Chicken Prize. Oh, you good with that?
I'm good with that. There we go. That's our not the best question. It's the best answer. This is normally you only call in and ask a question on this show. Today you've actually got to answer. Coach Logan has challenged you to answer. So
Okay, well, look, and I'll even give you a chicken prize, a Bojangle prize package, if you just give me any answer. I don't even care if it's the answer. Just somebody offer that up for me, because I'm serious. I've talked to so many people about this mystery, okay? At any given time, East Carolina has put very competitive athletic teams in almost every sport. Baseball, we all know. We're very proud of. It doesn't matter who the baseball coach is to a degree at East Carolina. They've all been good. It's a good culture, right? The football program has had a couple of downs, but mostly competitive. And down the list you go. I mean, I remember when I was at East Carolina, the track coach, the men's track coach was Carson was his last name, Coach Carson. Bill. And when I came to East Carolina, Bill Carson was taking a 400-meter relay team almost every year to the Penn Relays, and East Carolina was represented. They were a threat. And so, again, I challenge anybody to call in and just offer up any explanation for the mystery of the East Carolina basketball program historically. I'm not throwing stones at, I don't even know who the basketball coach is there, and I'm sure he's a hard-working, God bless him, you know, for the struggle he's going through. But anyway, I just kind of wandered off into the basketball world, which that'll go down as a first.
Hey, you asked me to tell you what was going on in Eastern North Carolina. That's it, Coach. Other than that, I've been hanging out watching the Australian Open. I know Djokovic 3:30 tomorrow morning. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it. Those are your guys. I don't know if you'll be up at 3:30 in the morning, but one of the
I could be.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me. One of the questions I have for you is, there's this reporter, the Australian Open, who decided to bring politics into sports and asked Madison Keys, Jesse Pegula, Coco Gauff, Taylor Fritz, Amanda Anisimova. I didn't see Ben Shelton, but possibly Ben Shelton. Political questions. Were you ever asked a political question as a coach? And if so, would you have asked whoever the sports information director was at the time to probably strip their credentials? Because I think Malcolm Gray here at East Carolina would strip my credential if I asked insert East Carolina coach here a question about their political views.
You know what? The political thing in sport, there's two arenas where, if you want to get really just stir up a hornet's nest, you can introduce politics into sport, or, here's a little news flash, introduce your politics into your music. Okay, I've seen musical groups, the Dixie Chicks. Do you even know who those girls were, Philip? The Dixie Chicks?
Yep.
Well, I love their music. And out of nowhere, they came prancing out and decided to tell the whole world that President George Bush was insane and Satan and all the things that those kinds of people do. And it destroyed their career. Okay? And I've always stood in amazement watching somebody in the arena of sport or the arena of music in particular. Now, Hollywood is a whole different, Hollywood it's accepted that they are completely in a bubble that regular America doesn't have a clue about, nor do we want a clue. We just want you to make a movie so we can watch it, okay? And we all kind of have accepted that anything that comes out of the Hollywood culture, you just kind of shake your head and move on. No big deal. But these musical groups, I think, I'm really off into outer space on this show, just Bruce Springsteen, who, I'm not a big Springsteen fan, but most of the world is. And he's gotten himself, all of a sudden, I don't know why, he's just ranting and raving. But back to the Australian Open. You get every American player that goes to the press conference, this reporter is basically asking you this question. Are you embarrassed of being an American? Do you hate America? And I'm just waiting. I would give millions and millions for somebody to say, you know what, I love my country, which I think that Anamasova, is that her name?
Amanda Anisimova.
She did do that. She said, you know what, I'm proud to represent my country. And which that's the perfect answer. And so that kind of shut that guy down a little bit, but it's just such an inappropriate question, okay? And to further prove it is inappropriate, that clown of a reporter has not asked anybody from Russia, Ukraine, Germany, Italy. The entire world is represented at a Grand Slam tennis tournament. There are players from almost every country that you would know of that are there. And so here again, it just points up the hatred. And, well, it's not hatred. Let me tell you what it really, and I learned this, I'm really wandering in this radio show. That's okay, it's my radio show. Let me tell you something, that reporter doesn't hate America. It's worse than that. And I stumbled into this truth when I went to coach in NFL Europe. I get to Europe, I'm the American, and I'm interacting with a lot of the German people who, listen, I had so many great stories to tell and interactions with those people. But there was a sense of, well, you're an American, and blah, blah, blah. And I kept digging and digging. I kept going, what is that feeling? What is that I'm feeling? And here was the answer. It's not a hatred of America. They're jealous of America. And I'm telling you right now, I mentioned this today on Henry Hinton's show. Jealousy, if you look into the book of Proverbs, which is a book that I read, it tells you right there, the most evil spirit is that of jealousy. Not hatred, not violence, but jealousy. What jealousy can lead to. And that's exactly where that reporter is coming from. He's coming from a point, he's jealous. He's a Canadian. Is that what you said, Philip?
That's what I've heard. I mean, it sounds like I haven't heard anything different. So yeah, we're going to go with that.
But it's a jealousy issue that drives those kinds of things, and it's just been the biggest mystery to me. And I've said this publicly, I've said this a million times. When I went to Western Europe, which is a free, open society, it is, just like America, okay? It is, I'm just telling you that it should be mandatory for every young man and young lady in America to be shipped to Western Europe, which is the second best place on the planet to live. The most freedom, kind of just like America, but I'm here to tell you publicly, Western Europe is a distant second to the life that we have here in the United States. It's not close, and it's the second best place in the world that you might get a chance to live. So I hope I'm framing that, for everybody. There's nothing, and I'm not a world traveler, but I've done some traveling. And I'm just telling you, here I am, pounding the table. I'm not venturing into politics, but I'm proudly stating, no matter what your politics are, there's nothing like the United States of America. It's not close. Okay, there's our comment for the day. My political rant is over with, and it really wasn't political. It was just a statement of my love for this country with all of its warts and imperfections. Okay, what do the Haitians say? If you want to go to heaven, what do you got to do? Die. Okay? Everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. So anyway, nothing's perfect.
One thing I will say, Coach, we applauded the one player, but I will say, I think every player that I saw did handle it very maturely. And some of these players are pretty openly political and even said, I am political on my own time, but I'm not doing that here, which I appreciate.
Good for them. Good for them. And they have that right. Again, the best place in the world is America. You can turn somersaults and light yourself on fire if you want to. You got the right and the freedom to do that. But with that right and with that freedom, you have responsibilities. Don't forget that. Don't leave that out. Okay, I should have been a history professor or something like that, or political science. That's what we should have done. I can't even believe we wandered into that. That's kind of a sticky subject. You got to be careful.
Sorry,
all right,
Coach. That was me.
It's your fault.
Watching tennis, I apologize. I did turn it
It's all your fault.
Football-related question, though. It was about had a reporter asked you that. You know, so.
If a reporter had asked me that back in the day, you know, I didn't have much of a filter, and I would have launched across the table at that particular reporter. And you're right. I would have called my sports information director and find out who that clown is, and never again would he be allowed into the press room. So there's that. Okay, on we go. 252-561-4263. Give me a call. I'll talk to you, obviously, about anything. Hit me on Twitter, at Steve Logan Show. I'll deal with that. In the meantime, we'll come back and talk about football, of all things. All right, take a break.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family.
At Bojangles, football season is tailgate season, and again this year, Bojangles is proud to partner with ECU Athletics to celebrate Pirate football. No matter where you are on game day, pick up a Bojangles tailgate box with all the chicken, fixins, buttermilk biscuit, and fresh brewed tea hungry fans want. Remember this, Pirate Nation, when you want to step up your game day festivities, it's bow time.
Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you could say touchdown. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Your vehicle packs a load of safety features to protect you in an accident. At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, it's our job to protect you just as well after an accident. With fast claim service from local agents, our auto coverage is a lot like an airbag. We hope you never need to use it, but we're right there and ready just in case you do. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, and independent licensee of Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
In Greenville, contact your local Farm Bureau agent for a quote for your car, home, life, or your health. You'll be working with neighbors you can trust, people like Alan Hill or Tony Boyd. These agents are dedicated to protecting your family and your dreams. These Farm Bureau agents are knowledgeable in a wide range of insurance products, but they are also tuned in to the Greenville community. Again, contact Alan Hill or Tony Boyd today at Farm Bureau Insurance in Greenville, 252-756-3165. That's 252-756-3165.
I want to take a minute here to tell you about Bill Clark Homes. The football stadium, the baseball stadium, the Pirate Club, whatever it is, Bill Clark Homes has always been there for ECU. The reason they can do all of this is because Bill Clark Homes continues to build quality homes and neighborhoods in both the Greenville area and in the Wilmington area. And whether it's Greenville or Wilmington, you can choose your school district with several homes under construction and available now in both markets. Eastern North Carolina's premier home builder, Bill Clark Homes, building family traditions.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on moneyline, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Ever ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Jeff Stein here at Brown & Wood Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Brown & Wood's award-winning service department is open Monday through Friday. And don't forget, we have free pickup and drop-off. Every customer, when you come in for service, heavy repair, maintenance, it doesn't matter. You get a free car wash, dry, and vacuum. We've also got Tom Brown's favorite tagline, 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 rooftops, and 1 goal to make sure you leave a happy customer.
Coach Logan's in the zone. And now, so are you. Back into the Logan Zone. Brought to you by Bill Clark Homes, Greenville Utilities, and Bojangles. On 94.3 The Game and Talk 96.3.
Welcome back into the Logan Zone here on 94.3 The Game and Talk 96.3. Reminder, Pirate fans, at Bojangles, football season is tailgate season. And again, this year, Bojangles is a proud partner of ECU Athletics to help celebrate Pirate football. No matter where you are on game day, pick up a Bojangles tailgate box with all the chicken, fixins, buttermilk, biscuit, and fresh brewed tea hungry fans want. Remember this, Pirate Nation, when you want to step up your game day festivities, it's Bo time. And the best caller does get an 8-piece tailgate from Bojangles, or might not even have to be the best caller. You might just be able to tell Coach as to why East Carolina has never been able, in his words, to be consistently competitive in basketball. And we do have our first caller on the line, so let's see if Tim has the answer. Do you have the answer, Tim, as to the East Carolina basketball mystery?
Okay, Tim, before we get started, Philip, you got to get this guy some chicken because he's brave enough to venture into the biggest mystery on the planet, if that is why he's calling. Okay, Tim, you got the Logan Zone. Go, man. What you got? Tim, are you there? Okay, Philip, we lost Tim somewhere. We lost Tim. Okay, call back, Tim. See, he probably got scared because you're walking into the biggest mystery on the planet, if that's what he was calling about. But if not, whatever. Okay, so let's shift gears. Okay, so this is called, for radio folks, for football fans, when you're assessing a talent on film, which I'm doing right now. I'm having to look at a lot of film and choose players to draft and whatever for the United Football League. There's a scouting point. You call it in-flight adjustment. Okay, so you got to have in-flight adjustments if you're going to be a good football player, because we give you an assignment. Suddenly the presentation changes because defensive coordinators' whole job in life is to screw up your football play, and good football players will make in-flight adjustments and solve the problem. That's what just happened right now on the radio. We're going to make an in-flight adjustment from talking to Tim, then we lost Tim, but I understand now Tim is back. Tim, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, Tim, good deal, man. So are you venturing into the mystery of East Carolina basketball, or are you calling with another question? Because I'm open to anything.
I've noticed that you are definitely open to anything tonight, so it's a different question.
Okay.
Actually,
all right.
Two.
Go.
One, with the NFL firing coaches like Sean McDermott and John Harbaugh, and then replacing them with Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, what do they think they are accomplishing? Because they're really just getting rid of the leader and promoting from within. How do they think that's going to help solve the problem, I guess?
Okay, Tim, that's question number one, and I've got that written down. Give me your second question. Or was that it? Both questions were right there?
About how the Power Five and other conferences, East Carolina has now, even though it's a 4-year school, it's almost like it's a junior college back in the 1990s.
Yep.
Why does ECU not position itself as going after the Menendez, who's a 3-star athlete out of high school, but if he comes to ECU and develops, he could very well be a 5-star athlete a year later. And position themselves trying to get those to, almost like a development league. And they're my two questions. And Logan, Coach Logan, I so appreciate everything that you have done for this university, for this football team, and for our city. Thank you.
Well, you know what? We were blessed, and I don't mean me, I mean we, because there were a bunch of we's involved in the particular period of time that I happened to be carrying the load, and just such a blessing. And we had a hell of a run. There was no doubt about it, and that's what I tell people all the time. Nothing is forever, and you just do what you can do, and we had some, golly, did we have some exciting moments. So I really appreciate that. I do, and I don't take that for granted to hear it from people, because it really was a life's work. It really was. I mean, I've coached a million places, but when you spend, whatever it was, 13 seasons total at one place, that's a life's work. And it was, man, oh man, what a ride. But anyway, so your first question, what do the NFL people, management, what do they think they're accomplishing with, for instance, and this is not a one-off event. This happens every year, and Tim is correct with the question, what in the world did the Buffalo Bills, for instance, what are they accomplishing when you get to the playoffs and you fall a couple of games short, and to make it worse, you had an incident in that game that was not adjudicated properly by the official, that changed the game, that cost the Bills a potential chance to win. What do you think you're accomplishing when you fire the head coach? Who got you there? And who has gotten you there, I think, 4 years in a row? And it's the head coach that walked into the Buffalo Bills, and they were a mess, a bona fide, screwed up, upside down franchise. Sean McDermott, who was the defense coordinator for the Panthers, I believe, goes in there, and what a fantastic job he's done. And then you fire him on basically a whim. Now, having said that, let me offer this up. We don't know what was going on inside the building. And there may have been some overriding tensions, and believe me, whether it be at the collegiate level, the pro level, and I've commented on this before, at the collegiate level, there is a natural tension from the head football coach to the athletic director. That's a matter of fact. That tension emanates a little bit from the fact that in a lot of most cases, the football coach is making double what the athletic director is making. But your boss, you're making more than your boss. And then in the meantime, your boss may be making some decisions, possibly without consulting you. That happened to me. It happened to me contractually. It was in my contract. I was to be consulted. I was not. And all hell broke loose on multiple fronts. Okay? So those kinds of things can begin to happen. And what has come out of the Buffalo Bills building is this. Sean McDermott was hired before the Buffalo Bills had a general manager. Sean McDermott recommended a man, and his last name is Bean. Philip, help me, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, his last name is Bean, B-E-A-N-E, I believe. But Sean McDermott actually hired him and brought him in as a friend, and obviously, thought that he was a guy that could help him keep the roster going.
Yeah, Brandon Bean.
Brandon Bean. And as it turns out, what's leaking out of the building in Buffalo is that over the years, working next to somebody every single day, some friction begins. And in the NFL, this is the friction that is constant in the building. The head coach says, please, general manager, would you go get me an edge rusher? We gotta have one. Make that your number one priority. You turn around, here comes the draft, or here comes free agency, and the general manager walks in and says, I got you a right guard. Well, just marinate on that for a minute. And this gets back to Bill Parcells saying, concerning this issue, Bill Parcells said, if I'm in charge of baking the cake, I'm going to be the guy that goes and buys the ingredients. And so I've set the table for you to understand as a fan what dynamic is in play in the National Football League. The general manager, who is not making the same money as the head coach, the general manager is in charge of providing the ingredients, the players that are given to the coach to help the coach be successful. That's your job. Now, in the meantime, let's play Game of Thrones for a minute. The evil Game of Thrones that goes on in college athletic departments. It goes on in pro football buildings. I've been in both my entire life. The Game of Thrones. Well, golly, you know what? We went out there and we fell short. We didn't get to the Super Bowl, and we got beat, and, you know, we've been to the playoffs 4 times in a row, and I just don't know if Coach McDermott is really the guy that's going to push us through that glass ceiling. That's a comment, a conversation that a general manager could have with the owner of the Buffalo Bills when they're out to dinner privately, and Sean McDermott is in the football office 18 hours a day trying to win a damn football game. And so that seed is planted, and then bang, there we are again, first round playoff loss. Or the last 2 years, it was a second round, and they couldn't quite get past the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Well, it's got to be the coaching. It's got to be Sean McDermott, even though he's the guy that put this whole thing together, and even though he's the guy that hired the GM who's having the dinner with the owner privately. And it's just an evil dynamic that begins to fester. Because let me tell you what football exists. Let me tell you what it subsists of. Football. The game of football provides 2 elements at the end of every game: distribution of credit and assignment of blame. That's it. Think about that. You go into a film room after a football game and you got your football team in front of you, and you're going to go through the film with your football team. Every single play for every single player involves distribution of credit. Hey, Billy, nice job there, son. You did exactly what we asked you to do. Great block. Okay? Assignment of blame. Hey, Johnny, you were supposed to come down and pinch off the nose tackle and then come back out and help the left tackle on Julius Peppers. You didn't get it done. Next play. Very next play. Same process. Distribution of credit, assignment of blame. Well, hold that thought. We just lost a football game. Okay? And the owner is sitting up in the luxury booth with the GM. We just lost a game. Somebody, where does the assignment of blame land? On the GM for not providing the proper football players, or the coach for not producing a win with all of these wonderful, wonderful, perfect football players that the GM has provided the football coach? You see what I'm saying? And the poor owner, to a degree, I mean, the owners, Arthur Blank built Home Depot into a multi-billion-dollar business, and he owns the Falcons. Who is Arthur going to listen to? The GM or the coach? There's your dynamic. And so the question from Tim was, what do they think they're accomplishing? I'm just explaining what's going on. What they're accomplishing? I'll tell you what they're accomplishing. They're throwing a spitwad and hoping to God it sticks. And we could go on for 3 or 4 more hours. The second question he talked about East Carolina's predicament of becoming what he termed as a junior college and a talent provider for the big schools. I've got a little monetary answer to that. I've got it sitting right in front of me that you'll find interesting. So stay tuned. Come on back. If you want to get in on the show, hit me at 252-561-4263 or hit me at Twitter at Steve Logan Show. Take a break.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves Tiebreakers.
Cold weather is here, and some families in our area need help to stay warm. Greenville Utilities' Neighbor to Neighbor program provides help for those who need temporary assistance with their heating costs. You can make a difference. Your tax-deductible donation can be added to your GUC bill each month, or you can make a one-time donation. And GUC matches all donations up to $20,000 each year. Consider helping a neighbor stay warm this winter with GUC's Neighbor to Neighbor program. For more information, call 752-7166 or visit GUC.com.
Medlin Chevrolet is your trusted Ayden dealership. Medlin Chevrolet has made their home in Ayden, serving Pitt, Lenoir, and surrounding areas for 7 years. We are growing. Now under construction is our brand new service facility to serve you even better. Try our service department for your work trucks, fleet, and personal vehicles, and you'll be with us for life. Our staff are courteous, service-minded professionals that answer the phones themselves and walk you through your purchase or service journey. Find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle today at Medlin Chevrolet, Monday through Saturday, Highway 11, Ayden.
As summer approaches, two things come to mind: baseball and warmer weather. This is Rachel Davis with Advanced Mechanical. We wanted to thank you for the trust you put in us. Before you know it, warmer temperatures will arrive, signaling summer is on the way. Don't wait. Prepare now for rising temperatures by scheduling a tune-up. Give us a call today at 252-355-9191 or visit our website, advancedmechnc.com.
Hallo, this is meine Auto. And this is meine key. And there is only one place I trust with meine key. Meine Key Car Care. They even offer financing options, so I can fix now and pay over time. Ooh, I love financing. And options. And meine Key. And American cheese. Remember, I only trust meine Key with meine Key, your one-stop shop for total car care.
At participating locations, subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payment required. See store for details. Meineke locations are independently owned and operated.
Have you been to Jaggers on Memorial Drive yet? I'm a regular at Jaggers, and let me tell you, if you want fresh, not frozen, you need to come to Jaggers. Burgers, chicken sandwiches, all sorts of salads, and the shoestring fries. Oh, I love those shoestring fries. My favorite is the Berry Fresh Grilled Chicken Salad, one of the best salads I've ever had. My grandkids love the burgers and fries and the chicken tenders with the awesome honey mustard and ranch. Everything is fresh at Jaggers. They don't cut any corners. Jaggers on Memorial Drive in Greenville. Also now open in Fayetteville.
There is a special place where innovation and breakthroughs happen, where childlike wonder meets the best of medicine, and where a world-class children's hospital offers hope and healing for Eastern North Carolina. This is Maynard Children's Hospital, where some of the brightest minds and most caring hearts provide the best for your child. Maynard Children's Hospital, for every child and every family.
Coach Logan's in the zone. And now, so are you. Back into the Logan Zone. Brought to you by Bill Clark Homes, Greenville Utilities, and Bojangles. On 94.3 The Game and Talk 96.3.
Welcome back into the Logan Zone. Before we get back to Coach Logan, I want to tell you about Bill Clark Homes. At Bill Clark Homes, they have always been there for ECU, and they can continue to support year after year because Bill Clark Homes continues to build quality homes and neighborhoods in both the Greenville area and the Wilmington area. And whether it's Greenville or Wilmington, you can choose your school district with several homes under construction and available now in both markets. Eastern North Carolina's premier home builder, Bill Clark Homes, building family traditions. Now we're about to toss it over to Coach Logan, and we do have our next caller. I don't know if he's calling about basketball. I think he's calling about his NFL team because we're on with Dave T. from Charlotte.
All right, from Charlotte. All right. He's got to be listening on either YouTube or the IBX Media app. So who was it, Dave? Is that who it was?
Dave T. I think T might be short for Tepper. So I think Mr. Tepper is on the line with us now. He's called in before and blamed his wife for his crappy football team. Is that what you're doing again, Dave T? Are you here to blame your wife again?
Well, listen, I'm doing post-exit interviews, and I just wanted a couple of opinions of Coach Logan. I don't really want anybody in Charlotte knowing I'm making this call.
We'll keep it quiet.
Dave, how are you?
Let him know.
How are you listening to us, Dave? Are you on the? How are you listening to us, Dave? How are we getting to you down in Charlotte?
Well, I live in a big old house in Charlotte, and, sometimes I kind of slum down and listen to the Eastern North Carolina folks because, but I do respect your opinion on football players, especially the quarterback position.
Thank you.
We've been doing exit interviews and this and
Okay.
that, and I'm supposed to stay out of it, but I can't keep my hands out of it, so I just want to run a couple things by you.
All right, go.
Well, my feelings are hurt because, I let us Darnold go, and he's getting ready to play for the Super Bowl and liable to win the damn thing, and I let him go.
I know.
And
Go ahead.
Now I got a 5'0" quarterback, and I will give credit to Coach Canales. He's doing everything he can to build an offense around this guy, but he's 5'0", and I'm kind of tired of the 2-yard outs and maybe a little 5-yard slant pass. And I just think I made a mistake drafting Bryce Young, and I need to rectify this. And we did a stupid thing, gave him a 5th-year option on his contract. I like him. He's a good kid. Very nice, very pleasant to be around. But we built a championship team other than the quarterback position. Now, I hear you're going up to Louisville to coach in the UFL. That's big. Might could use it down in Charlotte next season to coach the quarterbacks. But,
there's Dave. Hold that thought right there. Let me tell you about a little bad experience for Steve Logan in the National Football League. I was working at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I went to the Buccaneers as a quarterback coach. I walked in the front door as a quarterback coach, and due to contractual insanity, I was told, okay, you're really the running back coach, which was fine. It wasn't fine, but it was fine. And I had a wonderful, wonderful experience for 3 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But at the end of the second year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rod Chazinski, I believe, was the offensive coordinator, maybe the head coach at the Panthers. And he called me and wanted me to come. He ended up being Cleveland's head coach. But Rob Chazinski called and was interested in bringing me to the Panthers as the quarterback coach. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers said, no way. They can block you if they choose to when it comes interviewing around the league, which is it's a hard deal when you go through that. And I went through that. So anyway, back to where you were, you also cut Baker Mayfield, by the way, along with Sam Darnold. And both of these men.
Coach Logan, that's my wife.
Okay, well, it's time for you to get rid of that wife and go get a trophy wife. Go get you got enough money to do that, Dave, right?
She is a trophy wife. But
yeah, we'll go to trophy wife number 2.
Let me ask you this, Coach, because I do respect your opinion, because you are a mastermind of quarterbacks. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
I've had moments.
Should I, number one, cut ties with Bryce Young and start looking to the future instead of putting my head coach in a very hard position, who's also my offensive coordinator, into doing these little out routes, slant passes at 5 yards, and he's having to jump up to get over the lineman? Okay, what is your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion on it is this: the Panthers, when you use your first pick of the whole draft on Bryce Young. Bryce Young falls into the category. Bill Parcells used to talk about this. He'd say, you know what the hit and miss rate is on first-round quarterbacks, by the way. Historically, it's 50%. It's a dangerous pick to pick a quarterback in the first round in the National Football League. That is a mathematical fact. Let me share this story with you. I had Matt Ryan at Boston College, and Matt Ryan was just an unbelievable quarterback for me, for Boston College and college football. Unbelievable. It was pretty much a consensus that he was going to be the first quarterback taken in that draft. Bill Parcells was at the Miami Dolphins, and he had the ability to pick Matt Ryan for the Dolphins. He did not. And you want to know what he said? Just what I just got through saying. He said the miss rate on quarterbacks in the first round is 50%. I'm scared to draft Matt Ryan, even with all the empirical evidence that was on film, that every indication was he was going to be a possible franchise quarterback. Okay? He drafted a guy named Jake Long at left tackle, which was the safe thing to do because the miss rate on a left tackle in the NFL is near zero. And of course, I'm 90% sure this has been 20 years ago now. I'm pretty sure Jake Long, that was the name, he did play for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah,
and he was a rock solid. Right, Philip?
Yeah, he did. I think the only left tackle that's ever been missed on is Tony Mandarich, and
he was a steroid freak.
Yeah, but no, they took Long. You're right, number one after that 1-15 season, and he played for 12, 15 years.
So the point I'm making to you, Mr. Tepper, is that the Bryce Young thing that the Panthers decided to do. Bryce Young, just his measurements automatically put him into the category of an exception. He doesn't measure up physically. Well, neither did Fran Tarkenton, who's in the Hall of Fame. He was a little 6-foot guy. Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame. He was an exception. But the Parcells model, I'm just talking here. I don't know if I agree or disagree with him. Parcells, the model is you don't draft Bryce Young. First of all, there's a 50% hit and miss on any first-round quarterback. Then you add in the exceptional measurements that he was presenting to you, which is 5'11", 180, 90 pounds, small frame. Okay? You don't know, but for him to be a franchise quarterback, and he still may develop into one, I'm going to give him that much credit. I do. And Dave, here's the thing that you're hitting on that you're 100% right. Dave Canales, I was listening to all these radio yak knuckleheads. They don't know if a football's pumped or stuffed. And they don't know really what they're talking about, but they've got 2 hours of radio to fill. And they're out there early in the season and last year, this Dave Canales guy, he's a first-rate front-row idiot. Can't coach nothing. And I'm sitting there watching this whole show that you're alluding to, and I'm going, you know what? This Dave Canales guy is a really, really good quarterback, offensive coordinator, football coach. Because he took this exception at the quarterback position. All of the measurements about Bryce Young are exceptionally low. And they took them, and I don't care how ugly it was, they were the NFC South champions this year with Bryce Young. Your question is, where do we go from here? The fifth-year option that the Panthers picked up cost them $0 on their cap. So it was an easy, smart move. Go ahead and give Bryce his fifth year. He is progressing. Will he turn into a true championship quarterback? Maybe. He might. He's making great strides, largely due to the coaching. But I think Bryce Young has got great leadership DNA. I think he's got championship DNA in him. That was proven at Alabama. But where and how the Panthers tried to get away from Bryce Young to another. Well, let's back up. You realize if you're going to pick top 5 in the NFL draft, which is where you want to try to capture Peyton Manning, you either got to be the worst team in the league, like the Panthers were, or you got to give away all of your draft capital, all of your picks, for just one top 5 pick. So the dilemma the Panthers are sitting in, I've just described it to you. You certainly don't want to go 3-13 next year and get the first pick. Do you want to take next year's draft, let's say you got 6, 7 picks. Do you want to give all of those away and try to get, again, Peyton Manning? He was a 50-50. You realize Peyton Manning's first year, I think, look this up, Philip. I think Peyton Manning's first year in the league, he won 3 games.
Yeah, he was 3-13 and threw 30 interceptions.
There you go.
And the people
you want to endure that?
Leaf should have went one. We had a lot of, actually probably had a decent argument after 1 year.
Correct. And so all you got to do is, I've spent my life fiddling. I say this all the time, exactly like this. I have spent my entire life fiddling around with quarterbacks. Okay? I'm getting ready to go into an environment right now, and I drafted 3 quarterbacks to come to camp with me. I don't know which one's going to be the guy. And I've been fiddling with them for 46 years of my life. But I'm willing to, and I say this all the time, I would say it in NFL draft rooms. Some scout or even a general manager would say, I know this guy's going to be really good. And I'm sitting there behind my mask going, I need to get as far away from you as I can get. Because when it would come my turn to speak, I would always start with this. I'm telling you guys, I just don't know. And I don't. And the only way that I ever made sure at the collegiate level to make sure I had 1 quarterback was to bring in 3 quarterbacks every recruiting season. Because I humbly admitted out front, openly in every staff meeting, I got no idea. I like all 3 of these guys. Hope to God one of them turns into Jeff Blake, Mark Crandall, David Garrard. I don't know. So there's my quarterback rant for the day. And we didn't even get to, we need to get back to the first question. The guy was asking about East Carolina's dilemma in the NIL world, and I've got numbers here that'll give everybody something to think about. We're going to take a break. Where are we, Philip? We at the top of the hour yet?
Yes, sir, we are halfway home.
Okay, top of the hour. When we get back, we'll tackle something else. Hit me with a phone call, 252-561-4263. Hit me at Twitter, at Steve Logan Show. We'll talk about anything. Take a break. Be right back.
It's bow time. We know there's a lot of breakfast sandwiches out there, but only Bojangles has the legendary Cajun Filet Biscuit. Shake things up with a boldly seasoned chicken breast on a fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit with bow rounds and your choice of drink. So when you're craving something bold, something different, something that takes breakfast to a whole new level, the Cajun Filet Biscuit is waiting for you, along with crispy bow rounds and a drink. Order in the app or at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Are you unhappy with your smile? Doctors Bowman Paget and Associates can help you with state-of-the-art procedures to get your smile game day ready. Bowman Paget and Associates agree that dressing up like a pirate for game day is one thing, but smiling like one may not be the way you want to go. Schedule your appointment at bowmanpaget.com. That's bowmanpaget.com or call 252-752-1111. Doctors Bowman Paget and Associates.
We are the dentist of ECU. Hey!
Turn your car into cash with an instant Kelley Blue Book offer from Barber Hendrick Honda in Greenville. Go online to barberhendrickhonda.com to value your trade, explore inventory, and apply for financing, all from the comfort of home. At Barber Hendrick Honda, we have great deals on new inventory and an extensive used inventory that includes all makes and models. Schedule service for your vehicle online and take advantage of our monthly specials. Barber Hendrick Honda, a proud member of the Eastern North Carolina community at the point of Greenville Boulevard and Memorial Drive.
Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best place to buy your diamond. Their knowledgeable diamond experts, unparalleled selection of top quality diamonds, customized financing, and direct diamond relationships make Bailey's Fine Jewelry the engagement ring destination you can trust. When you shop at Bailey's, you're getting the highest quality diamonds without the higher prices. There's no reason to look for your engagement ring anywhere else. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry today or learn more online at baileybox.com.
What makes 1 hour heating and air different?
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Smart homeowners know that proper maintenance of their home's heater system can save a bundle in the long run. Trust our comfort specialists at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning of Greenville to keep your heater running right. Whether you've got a furnace or any other type of heating system, a proactive tune-up prevents problems before you're in the cold. In the Pitt County area, call the heating and air conditioning company that you can trust. 1 Hour Heating and Air of Greenville, 252-515-7778. That's 252-515-7778. Or online at onehourheatingandair.com. You can depend on our highly skilled, clean, and friendly technicians, and our straightforward pricing guide, and our on-time guarantee.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
1 Hour Heating and Air of Greenville.
Texas Roadhouse in Greenville is the home of legendary food and legendary service. Start your meal off with a cactus blossom, fried pickles, or their famous rattlesnake bites. Then get ready for the main event, including legendary fall-off-the-bone ribs, country fried chicken, or one of the Texas Roadhouse hand-cut steaks. Texas side combos include chicken and ribs, sirloin and shrimp, or sirloin and ribs. For extra juicy flavor, try the bone-in ribeye. Texas Roadhouse, open every night for dinner and lunch on weekends, Southwest Greenville Boulevard.
This is WRHD, Farmville, Greenville. Powered by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. That's ritchielaw.com.
And now, you just crossed over into the Logan Zone. From ECU Pirate football to the whole college landscape to basically anything else that's on his mind, Coach Steve Logan's talking about it now.
You don't coach at East Carolina. You don't come to East Carolina. You don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart.
Tweet at Steve Logan Show with your takes or call 252-561-GAME for your spot in the Logan Zone. Brought to you by Bill Clark Homes, Greenville Utilities, and Bojangles. Now, here's Steve Logan.
Welcome into the second half of the Logan Zone here, this second to last show of the 2025-2026 football season. Even though Greenville Utilities has a reliability rate of more than 99.99%, sometimes outages happen. Just like in football, you need to have a plan for what to do just in case. Right now, grab your cell phone, open the contacts list, and add GUC's emergency hotline as a contact. Here's the number to use, 1-855-767-2482. That's 855-SOS2-GUC. Plan on using that instead of fumbling around when the lights go out. Now we're going to toss it back over to Coach Logan as we kick off the second half.
All right, back in the Logan Zone. If you've just tuned in, I just want you to know that Philip and I have thrown out the biggest question, the biggest mystery in all of sport. And we challenge the audience to call in and offer up their reasoning why East Carolina basketball has such a problem being competitive. And I'm not throwing stones at the coach that's there now. I don't even know who it is. But I just know that it's been another struggle, another year. And the silence on the phone line is deafening. Nobody's willing to even touch that subject, Philip, okay? Which proves our point. It's the biggest mystery in all of sport, right?
I guess so.
So here we go. All right. So we were, one of the earlier callers, Tim, called in, and he asked a question about his concern was, it just looks like East Carolina is becoming a developmental school for the big boys. And predictably, I made this comment 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. That's exactly what the East Carolina of the worlds are going to become. You're going to be a two-way street if you're not in the Power Four. And even if you're a low-end Power Four football program, you are going to become a two-way street. You're going to catch guys coming from the top down that are they're not happy with their playing time, and you're going to lose kids in your program that you have developed because they're going to go up. So it's two-way street. You're going to lose them going up and catch them coming down, and you better catch the right ones. Just because you bring in a bunch of guys in the portal, as we've learned at the University of Colorado, West Virginia, I believe I saw where they're bringing in 70 new football players. That is an indication that you're out there throwing darts. That isn't an indication that you're getting 70 new good football players. But back to the East Carolina. Hey, how come we're losing these guys and blah, blah, blah? Well, get your pencil out. I'm going to give you some numbers to deal with. The Power 4 quarterback is expected to have a price tag of $1 to $4 million. This is average stuff, okay? $1 to $4 million. The East Carolina quarterback is hoping to get $1 million. Now, these are just basic numbers to deal with. So all of a sudden, you've got a quarterback that's getting $4 million in the Power 4. An American Athletic Conference quarterback is working for about $1 million. Running back, Power 4, $400,000 to $900,000 for a running back in a Power 4 place. American Athletic running backs currently are slotted at $150,000. Wide receiver, Power 4, $500,000 to $1 million. Wide receivers at the American Athletic Conference level, $100,000. Okay? Tight ends at the Power 4 level are slotted from $300,000 to $900,000. At the American Athletic Conference, they don't have a slot for tight ends. That got missed, that got left out. Let's move on. Let's go to interior defensive linemen at the Power 4 level are slotted from $500,000 to $1.5 million. Interior defensive linemen. At the American Athletic Conference, the interior defensive line is sitting at a $100,000 money slot. Edge rushers at the Power 4 level, $500,000 to $2 million. American Athletic Conference numbers for an edge rusher, they're slotted at $150,000. Let's move to corners. Corners at the Power 4 level, $250,000 to $1 million. Corners at the American Athletic Conference, roughly $75,000, maybe $100,000. Safeties at the Power 4 level, $250,000 to $900,000. Safeties in the American Athletic Conference are clocking in at about $75,000 a year. So the point is this, and Tim asked the question, you know, we're simply becoming a junior college. And functionally, yes, you are. You're looking at 2-year football players routinely. So you got to go out and make sure you catch the falling stars, so to speak, like the quarterback from Miami that East Carolina just caught. He's coming down the ladder because he got frustrated at Miami sitting behind whoever they bought next. Carson Beck, Darian Mensah, which obviously tells you that the people at Miami didn't think this young man was a true Power 4 national championship quarterback. That doesn't mean he's not any good. And he can come, just like the Caden Hauser kid came for what, 1 year? No, he was there 2 years. He just only played like a year and a half due to an injury. And he improved his stock through playing instead of sitting on the bench. He improved his stock, and now he gets to go try his luck at the University of Illinois. So there's that. And something interesting. And it's just, again, this new world of buying and selling your football team each year. This is new territory. We're only about 4 seasons, maybe 4 seasons of truly horse trading and building your roster with money and the evaluation process. And there's a lot to be learned. I think the collegiate talent evaluators, it's only been 48 months ago. East Carolina didn't have a general manager 48 months ago, I don't think. They may have, but if they did, it was the first one. And so, this experiment that basically everybody's in the laboratory right now wondering, what if we do this? How about this? And certainly right now when there are, in effect, no rules. And I've mentioned this too many times, and it's boring for me to say it, but I can't help but say it. If a multi-billionaire decided to get started in East Carolina, do you know what could happen? Even though East Carolina's in the AA, billionaire walked in, and I was the head coach, and he said, "Hey, Steve, you got unlimited paychecks. Go to it, boy. Let's see what you can do." Boys, let me tell you what. You talk about tampering. Every football player on Texas A&M's roster tonight, and Alabama's, and Florida's, and Ohio State's, and I would go about saying, "How much are they paying you?" "Well, Coach, I'm making $2 million to play wideout at Ohio State, but I'm only playing part-time. I'll give you $3 million to come down here and start." Bang. I just solved the wideout issue. And down the list I would go. This is available. Ask Indiana. We're sitting here 48 months into this laboratory experiment, and we just watched Indiana, the worst college football program on the planet, historically, go 16-0 and beat the almighty University of Miami in the national championship game. So I'm not up here, I'm not in fantasy land. And this gets all the way back to the question, East Carolina has become, not just East Carolina, almost everybody, except for who? Texas A&M, currently Texas Tech, because Texas Tech decided to do exactly what I'm talking about. SMU, okay? But those big boys, they still can recruit a high school kid and pay him and keep him and have him matriculate through the program. They can, okay? But at any given moment, the high school 5-star kid that's at the University of Georgia making $2 million a year, and he's not getting the ball enough, he's a candidate to leave tonight. And he can certainly be for sale. And so, like they say, welcome to the NFL. And it is, I'm just telling you, like I say, we're in the laboratory. And what happens today, 30 days ago, nobody was talking about the quarterback at Duke walking out of Duke for an extra $10 million or whatever it cost him to transfer. And the word on the street, the inside word, Duke, Philip had told me earlier that they had a lawyer on another radio show with Patrick Johnson, and the lawyer said, well, Duke being private, they can't really tell what happened on that transaction from Darian Mensah, the Duke quarterback, going to Miami. Well, I've talked to some people that are in the football industry, and they're telling me flat out that Miami paid Duke $4 million at least to get the Mensah kid to come. So that's $4 million to Duke and another $4 or $5 million for the Mensah kid. There are no rules. And if you want to clutch your pearls and have wailing and gnashing of teeth, you're wasting your energy. What you ought to do is go find a billionaire that you can recruit into your football program. Name the stadium after him. I don't care. Create an LLC for your football or for your athletic department like the University of Utah did, like Kentucky did. They are an LLC, a limited liability corporation that has been carved out of the university, operating basically as a subcontractor now. And the University of Utah, by the way, brought in a private equity firm that is pouring money into the program. Now, that's got all kinds of ramifications to it. But my point is this. Tim, you asked the question about East Carolina. I'm giving you answers. But it involves money. It involves commitment. It involves courage. There's a risk-reward involved in this kind of a conversation that I'm presenting. You could have a billionaire come in and get involved in the program and run it right straight into the ground, like some NFL owners do. How about this? Jimmy Haslam. Okay, we had an earlier caller talking about the Buffalo Bills, management coming in and firing the coach that led them into the playoffs, and then instead of going outside and bringing in some hotshot coach, they elevated a guy that was already in the building. Ownership, leadership matters, okay? How about this? Jimmy Haslam has owned the Cleveland Browns since 2012. How many years is that? 14? In that time, the Cleveland Browns' overall record is 81 wins, 144 losses, and 1 tie. They have a grand total of 2 winning seasons. In 14 years, they've had 2 winning seasons, 0 division titles, finished last in their division 9 of the 14 times that Haslam's owned it. And they've had a generational run of, they have hired a coach after coach after coach after coach.
Coach, they've been the number 1 overall pick as many times as they've had a winning season in that.
There you go. And that gets back to some of the other questions that have come to us in this show just tonight. First-round draft pick. Well, good for you. You got a first-round draft pick. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to hit or are you going to miss? And we were talking about quarterbacks earlier. It is a statistical fact, first-round draft picks historically, at the quarterback position, it's a 50-50 shot as to whether or not they're going to develop into a, quote, franchise quarterback. It's a 50-50 miss. But the current, and I've talked to people about this, and I'm really, I'm reactivated now into the coaching profession, and I'm reactivated into fiddling around with quarterbacks. Okay? I was talking with a man today. He's the wide receiver coach for our franchise, the Louisville franchise in the UFL. His name is Tony Banks. That may ring a bell to some football nuts. Tony Banks is going to coach wide receivers for us. And Tony Banks played, I think, 11 years in the NFL. I think his last 4 years may have been with the Redskins. He's from Michigan State. And Tony and I were talking. He entered the NFL because I was asking him about his career. And he said, well, and I was very well of Tony. I know who Tony Banks was the moment this staff was put together. And so, I'm working closely with Tony now. We're developing an offense. And I said, Tony, tell me, when you came into the NFL, he said, I was on the front end. He said, I was on the front end of when you got drafted in the first or second round. They threw you on the field pretty quick, as opposed to maybe 10 years. I think Tony told me he was drafted in 96, something like that. But previous to that, you would draft a quarterback in the NFL, they'd sit on the bench 2 to 3 years. Routine to learn the game. Because college football, and certainly today, the game of college football at the quarterback position and the game of pro football at the quarterback position have never been further apart. Never been further apart. The kid that comes out of, Caden Hauser. For our audience, I know there's a lot of East Carolina people listening, okay? Caden Hauser has spent the last 2 years of his life playing quarterback and playing it well in a system that required him to count how many defenders were in a box, and he would either hand the football off or throw a bubble screen or throw a takeoff route to press coverage. That's about it. Now, I just oversimplified it, and I'm sure somebody could get angry at me and say, Logan, there's a lot more to it than that. I know that. But he's going to walk into the NFL, if he's lucky, And they're going to throw down a playbook in front of him that looks like the New York City phone book. And he's going to see some defensive presentations that look like somebody took spaghetti and threw it on a chalkboard. And your job is to figure it out. It's a whole different set of problems. But the normal routine now in the NFL is go ahead and draft Sam Darnold first. Did Sam Darnold go to the Jets, Philip? Is that where he landed?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's like going to Cleveland. You may as well walk into a loony bin. Guess what? It absolutely retarded his development. And then he goes to the Panthers during a chaotic time, and the Panthers go, this guy can't play, get him out of here. He goes to the Minnesota Vikings, which has always been a organized, top-down management place, and wins 13 games. But then the Vikings get stupid. They don't believe what they actually saw. And they send him where? To Seattle. Guess what? He just won another 13 or 14 football games going to the Super Bowl. That's how you get developed in the NFL now. You get slung off the merry-go-round, go to another franchise, go to another franchise, go to another franchise. Hopefully to God, you run into a good system and a good coaching staff and good management that gives you a chance to develop. I'm hearing the blues. I need to calm down anyway. Let's take a break.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
Hey, Pirate fans, take a trip, consolidate debt, update your home. Whatever you're planning, a personal loan up to $5,000 can help. Coach Logan here from my friends at National Finance Company. With NFC, you can get cash now. Loans up to $5,000, same-day cash, and fixed monthly payments. If you need to borrow money, trust the company that has been helping Carolinians for more than 50 years. National Finance Company. Apply at any of their 24 North Carolina locations or at nfcmoney.com.
Your roof has seen its better days. During a really hard rain, you get a leak. Call a roofing contractor, and before they even look at it, they say you need a new roof. Maybe you do, or maybe it can be repaired and last for a few more years. Whichever the case, Langley Contracting will give you an honest assessment, whether it's commercial or residential. Langley will get the job done. With their own employees, not a collection of subcontractors. So you know they have much better control over the quality of your roof. That's why you get a 25-year warranty. So whether it's roofing or gutter installation, call the professionals at Langley Contracting. Easy number to remember. 252-214-ROOF. That's 214-ROOF. Langley Contracting. 214-ROOF. That's Langley Contracting and Roofing. 252-214-ROOF.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Jeff Stein here at Brown & Wood Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Brown & Wood's award-winning service department is open Monday through Friday. And don't forget, we have free pickup and drop-off. Every customer, when you come in for service, heavy repair, maintenance, it doesn't matter. You get a free car wash, dry, and vacuum. We've also got Tom Brown's favorite tagline, 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 rooftops, and one goal to make sure you leave a happy customer.
Need to insure a boat in Edenton, a business in Elizabeth City, a car in Greenville? How about a farm truck in Mount Olive or a home on the Outer Banks? Weatherly Insurance Agency, an independent insurance agency with 6 locations in eastern North Carolina, is here to help. Weatherly Insurance Agency has agents you can get to know because they're your neighbors and live in your town. Call today, 252-756-9900 or on the web at weatherlyinsurance.com. From the Outer Banks to the Inner Banks, Weatherly Insurance has you covered.
Coach Logan's in the zone. And now, so are you. Back into the Logan Zone. Brought to you by Bill Clark Homes, Greenville Utilities, and Bojangles. On 94.3 The Game and Talk 96.3.
Alrighty, we got a pair of callers on the line right now, so we're going to make this one transition a little quicker, and we're going to toss it now back to Coach Logan. And Tim is back on the line. Tim called in earlier with 2 good football questions, but now Tim is here to answer our basketball myth. So we'll see what Tim's got, see if he can answer Coach Logan's myth here.
All right. So we asked early in the show if anybody would dare call in and try to solve the mystery of East Carolina basketball. And we have a brave man that's going to step forward and give us the answer. Ready? Tim, you got it. Go.
I believe they need to refocus. When Coach Schwartz came from Tennessee, I believe he is using the same typical recruiting methods that most coaches use in basketball. I believe what we need to do is refocus ourselves, almost like we did with the football question. You know, how do we handle, where are we with ECU football? How do we move forward? How do we continue to be successful? I personally think, and I want to let you know this, I'll get a lot of haters for saying this, Coach, but in the 90s, early 2000s, I was wanting to get rid of the basketball program and turn Minges into an indoor facility for the football program because we were making success in football. We were beating our heads against a brick wall in basketball, losing money. I think the answer to our question with basketball, we need to go and recruit overseas. We need to get international players here because I think that if we're trying to get the same recruits that Duke, Carolina, Wake Forest State would get, we won't compete. But I do believe we can get players that are comparable to them overseas. That's just, it's kind of like we need to think outside the box. That's the answer to our basketball questions. We need to find somebody that's not doing the ABCs, but I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to show you I'm a winner. Google it.
Well, and Tim, you know what? That is that's not a bad line of thinking. And I would say this, that when you go overseas, you're going to run, if it's a really, really, really good player, Duke and Carolina are going to be there anyway. But to your point, I agree with what you're saying. What did Einstein say? Doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result is insanity. And so there is a place to, introduce some new thinking and a new approach. But in the end, now somebody's going to have to step up with a paycheck. Now that's just a matter of fact. Now, once you step up with a paycheck, now you got to buy the right guy, because you can waste money on a player. I've been in the NFL, and we gave a lot of money to a couple of players that I was around. Man, they didn't help us a lick, but they got their millions. And so anyway, but I appreciate the thought. That was a thoughtful answer that's got, the roots of success in it. Because, when I used to tell people at East Carolina, when I came to East Carolina, people forget, when I came to East Carolina in 1988, I think East Carolina hadn't had a winning season in 9 or 10 years. Just something, you can look it up. I mean, we weren't trying to win the first game that we coached in that year. We were just trying to get a first down. And then suddenly, through a series of events, I'm the head coach, and I used to tell our staff, we can't do things like everybody else is doing. It's guerrilla warfare for us. We can't go head-to-head with Carolina on a football player or State or anybody else. Well, what do? Well, we began to just recruit athletes. We went up to New Jersey and we brought in 2 or 3 kids from New Jersey that were just athletes. And they found themselves walking into a very well-organized strength program that had purpose and meaning. We put them on the football field in various positions to find out what could they do to help us win. And I've told too many war stories like that. But that's how we cracked the code. But we doggone sure didn't need a left guard and had the luxury of going out and looking at left guards and signing the left guard. When I was at the University of Colorado, we could do that. We had a big boy sweater on our chest when we were recruiting at Colorado. We didn't at East Carolina. We barely had a sweater. So I agree with your assessment. It's got to be outside the box. It's got to be a guerrilla warfare approach. And then once you begin to win, you can attract a different level of player to your program and hopefully have a sustained competitive presentation. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to the next caller, and that would be Destry. Destry, what's up, man?
Hey, Coach. Glad you're getting back in the game, and looking forward to seeing what kind of headaches you can cause for defenses this upcoming season. One of my favorite phrases of yours is, "You can't win the Kentucky Derby riding a jackass."
No, you can't.
And I'm looking forward to. Are you optimistic about what you're going to have to work with down in Birmingham, or is it totally up in the air who you might get, or just how's that process shaking out for you? Appreciate it.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question, Destry. And I'm actually going to Louisville. I'm in the Louisville franchise. I was in the Birmingham franchise at the beginning of this spring pro football experiment, and but I'm going to Louisville, and the way they do it in these leagues, they have a list of quarterbacks, and they want to distribute the quarterbacks as evenly as they can because these leagues want to have a competitive presentation. Okay, they don't want somebody to go 11-0 and somebody to go 0-11, and the quarterback position is the most important. So what they did, they presented me, our franchise, every franchise got presented with the same group of quarterbacks. And I looked at all of them, along with Coach Redmond, my head coach, and then we ranked them and turned our rankings into the league. Now, our rankings might be totally different than the Birmingham franchise or the Houston franchise. There's eight teams in this league. So anyway, once they get these rankings in, they look at them, and this gets back to my Baskin and Robbins theory. Okay, if I was going to buy a franchise, any franchise in America, I would absolutely buy Baskin and Robbins. Why? Because you can take your entire family into Baskin and Robbins, and everybody can leave happy because you can go to one ice cream shop and nobody has to fight about, well, all they got is vanilla or all they've got is chocolate, and I don't like chocolate, and I want the... There's something there for everybody. The point is, the rankings that we turned in, I wanted quarterback 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I had to rank 10 of them, but I had 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just hoping to get one of those guys. I believe we got 1, 2, and 4. From our wish list. Well, the same thing happened with the Dallas franchise and the Birmingham franchise and the Columbus franchise. So everybody put in their request, And then what goes on behind closed doors, I don't know. It's a little bit different than the NFL draft. Okay? That's only done in the quarterback position. Now, once we get into the other thing that's different, right after the quarterback allocation came the wide receiver draft. And they only drafted wide receivers on day one. The next day was, actually, it was a skill draft on day one. So you could draft a wide receiver, tight end, or a running back. Day two was the offensive line draft. So all the offensive linemen are there, and you go right around the horn. You got first pick, second pick, third pick, just like that. And we drafted offensive linemen, and then you go to the defensive side of the ball, and the same process takes place. You do it by position. I'm excited with the 3 young men that have been assigned to us. And I requested all of them. So now this gets back to what we were talking about earlier. We're going to find out what kind of an evaluator I was. I'm pretty confident. I know that I got 3 young men that have got attributes that I desire in a quarterback. And but it was interesting because there were 2 or 3 what I would call pure pocket passers available. And I watched those guys go to other franchises. So obviously, Baskin and Robbins, that head coach and quarterback coach, they desired that kind of a quarterback. And I can win with that kind of a quarterback, but I prefer a mobile quarterback. I prefer that. Now, the trick to a mobile quarterback is you got to teach them not to default to their feet after looking at one receiver. That's a kiss of death. It creates a chaotic offense. You can win games like that. You will not win a championship like that. That's proven. You got to be able to work from the pocket. But I love having the security blanket when the protection truly breaks down and the quarterback has exhausted his looks, 1, 2, and 3, maybe 4. Then he's got the God-given ability to use his feet. And instead of ending up 2nd down and 16, at least make it 2nd down and 9 for me with your feet. And anything above that's a bonus. Okay? And the mobile quarterback, there's a myth. You know, when you say mobile quarterback to a general football fan, they think of a guy that can, Cam Newton, Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, they're mobile, okay? Let me tell you one of the most mobile quarterbacks that I ever had the luxury of coaching, Matt Ryan. Go back and look at the film of Matt Ryan and watch his mobility to stay alive in a muddy pocket, create a throwing lane, and get rid of the football. And then at times, if forced to, Matt Ryan could pull the football down and make 2nd and 17, a potential 2nd and 17 sack into a 2nd down and 9 by working his way back to the line of scrimmage. And he may get you a little bit more than that. But I used to have this conversation with him all the time. I'd say, Matt, at the end of the game, and you and I are breaking down the film of the game you just played, I want your rushing statistics to be plus 1 yard. And if you do that for me and yourself, we're good to go, dude. Just end the game in the plus category in your personal rushing stat. Now, Coach David Garrard. David would always end up with a positive rushing stat at the end of any football game because he just is hard to sack. But here's the thing. I didn't want to look up, without calling any designed quarterback runs, I didn't want to look at a stat sheet for my quarterback named David Garrard that said he had 130 yards rushing. Because I promise you, we'll be looking at the film and he left this receiver open, didn't throw it to him. That receiver open, didn't throw it to him. This receiver open, didn't throw it to him. and he's defaulting to his feet way too soon. I don't even know what got me off on that. Quarterback talk. Okie doke. I hear the blues. We'll take a break. If you're brave enough, you can call into this show, 252-5614-263. Hit me on the Twitter at Steve Logan Show, and I will answer your questions or engage you in any conversation you want to talk about. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Cold weather is here, and some families in our area need help to stay warm. Greenville Utilities' Neighbor to Neighbor program provides help for those who need temporary assistance with their heating costs. You can make a difference. Your tax-deductible donation can be added to your GUC bill each month, or you can make a one-time donation. And GUC matches all donations up to $20,000 each year. Consider helping a neighbor stay warm this winter with GUC's Neighbor to Neighbor program. For more information, call 752-7166 or visit GUC.com.
Have you been to Jaggers on Memorial Drive yet? I'm a regular at Jaggers, and let me tell you, if you want fresh, not frozen, you need to come to Jaggers. Burgers, chicken sandwiches, all sorts of salads, and the shoestring fries. Oh, I love those shoestring fries. My favorite is the Berry Fresh Grilled Chicken Salad, one of the best salads I've ever had. My grandkids love the burgers and fries and the chicken tenders with the awesome honey mustard and ranch. Everything is fresh at Jaggers. They don't cut any corners. Jaggers on Memorial Drive in Greenville. Also now open in Fayetteville.
Hallo, this is meine Auto. Und this is meine key. And there is only one place I trust with meine key. Meine key Car Care. They even offer financing options, so I can fix now and pay over time. Ooh, I love financing. And options. And meine key. And American cheese! Remember, I only trust Meineke with Meineke, your one-stop shop for total car care.
At participating locations, subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payment required. See store for details. Meineke locations are independently owned and operated.
Your family, your home, your business. When it comes to protecting what matters most in your life, you deserve an insurance team you can truly trust and that will go to work for you. At First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with hometown people right here in Eastern North Carolina. Our team, led by Clark Stallings, includes Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Susie Heath. We are dedicated to providing our customers with professional insurance advice, competitive products, and excellent service. At First State, we are ready to advise you on your personal and business insurance needs, from life insurance that protects your family, to home and auto coverage that protects your personal assets, to commercial insurance for your business. First State Insurance Advisors has you covered. Call First State Insurance Advisors today at 252-917-8822. We would be honored to become your trusted choice agency. Go Pirates!
Medlin Chevrolet is your trusted Ayden dealership. Medlin Chevrolet has made their home in Ayden, serving Pitt, Lenore, and surrounding areas for 7 years. We're growing. Now under construction is our brand new service facility to serve you even better. Try our service department for your work trucks, fleet, and personal vehicles, and you'll be with us for life. Our staff are courteous, service-minded professionals that answer the phones themselves and walk you through your purchase or service journey. Find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle today at Medlin Chevrolet, Monday through Saturday, Highway 11, Ayden.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves tiebreakers.
Coach Logan's in the zone. And now, so are you. Back into the Logan Zone. Brought to you by Bill Clark Homes, Greenville Utilities, and Bojangles. On 94.3 The Game and Talk 96.3.
Welcome back into the Logan Zone. Final drive of the Logan Zone here in this second to last week of the 25-26 season. Coach, you and I were a little worried going in. We said, hey, maybe there's not enough to talk about. We've got your blood boiling a couple times today, so it's been a normal show, right?
Yeah, I'm capable of launching into some childish emotional rant about any given subject at any given time. So that's just the way the good Lord made me, and I'm sorry, but I deal with it best I can.
Coach, we do have a caller. Demetrius is on the phone right now, so I'm about to get you our caller's name.
Demetrius? Oh, Demetrius is getting the callers now. Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Get this person's name and let's get them going. Come on, Demetrius. God dang it. See that, if you're going to be on the staff, you can't.
All right.
Yeah, you got to get faster. Let's go.
Here we go. Who is it, Demetrius? Irving. Irving's on the line.
Irving, you're in the Logan Zone. What's going on, man?
Hey, I just dialed into the show after work. I'm not sure where you're heading, but congratulations.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go. I've been blessed. And, yeah, we're gonna have a good time, and I'm looking forward to this experience. I've done it before. This will be the 5th year of professional spring league football, and it's a sweet spot for me because Irving, the kids that you work with in this environment, these are guys that have been bumped off of NFL rosters, but still believe that they can get back on a roster. And you talk about fun to work with. These guys, all you got to do is roll the ball out at practice. And it's 100 miles an hour, man, because, you don't ever have to coach effort because these guys want to get better and they want to get 10 game films so that the general managers around the National Football League will begin to evaluate them, and hopefully they can get back on an NFL. I think last year the UFL, the league I'm in, provided, I think, 14 or 15 players got on NFL rosters last year that played in the NFL this last year that had been in the UFL the spring before. So, it's a noble idea, and like I say, I enjoy. I've done it 4 years. This will be my 5th time doing this. And when I got the call, I didn't really have to think about it much. I just want to make sure that it was going to be with a group of good men, and that has been proven to be 100%. I'm really fortunate to be with the group that I'm with. So anyway, I appreciate that. And did you have a question, Irving?
Yeah, I did, and going back to ECU basketball, I refuse to believe it's any more complicated now that you can pay players. We just need. I'm going to go way back with this one. We need somebody that can find an Oliver Mack or a Blue Edwards. It didn't have to be somebody that Carolina or Duke is after. There's got to be 2 or 3 diamonds in the rough out there somewhere. There needs to be a search and destroy mission by whoever, our current coach, whoever, to find out who can evaluate talent.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's enough money in the purse to pay for it.
Yep.
I just refuse to believe it's any more complicated than that. I mean, winning, that place will be a madhouse. It's just as loud as Cameron Indoor and Minji's. I've been to both when we're winning, which isn't often, but when it happens, it's special in there. So
that is true, Irving. When I was coaching at East Carolina, there was a man that came in named Bill Harrion after Eddie Payne left, and Eddie found Blue Edwards, I believe, and got East Carolina was competitive for a couple of years, but then they rebuilt Minji's, and Bill Harrion, I believe, got in there. And I just remember I actually got the luxury of bringing a recruiting weekend into Minji's Coliseum, and East Carolina was playing Louisville. And it went to a double overtime, and East Carolina won that basketball game, and it was an absolute top drawer NCAA Division I basketball experience for everybody involved. There was not an empty seat. And so, if you'll present a product that people can relate to, everybody wants to be part of a winner. And, the East Carolina people, will show up. I saw that in just a little brief moment. Just a little brief moment. I think I don't know what year that was. It was 1990. 6, 7, 8, I don't know. Philip, could you look when Bill Harrion was the coach at East Carolina in basketball? But and he didn't, quote, make it, but I know that it was competitive. And one year it was a little bit more than competitive. And like I say, East Carolina beating Louisville, of all people, at home. And, so there was just, there have been those little bitty blips, just like you're talking about. Where did Blue Edwards come from? I don't know how Eddie Payne got Blue Edwards to come there, but he could shoot the eyes out of it. And he carried that basketball program for a couple of years, and they were competitive. And right now, I don't think anybody in East Carolina is pounding the table for a championship. It's just, please, God, give us something. What you got, Philip? When was Bill Harry in there?
He was here, Coach, from 1999 through 2005. If you remember there also, yes, they did beat Louisville, but they also beat Marquette, and that was when Dwayne Wade was at Marquette.
Yes. And so, like I say, and I don't know what happened to Coach Harry. He came from the Northeast. I remember I didn't get real close with Bill, but close enough. It was toward the end of my run. But, he came in. He came from the Northeast, and I believe he left East Carolina and went back up to the Northeast. And I'm talking New Hampshire or something.
University of New Hampshire from 2005 to 2023.
Wow. So he went up there and lasted, 18 years?
Yeah, almost 2 decades.
Holy moly. But so anyway, I'm with everybody else. I don't want to be the guy that's screaming, fire the coach. That ain't it. There's something structurally, infrastructure. And I know East Carolina has finally built a good basketball facility and a good, Minji's Coliseum is plenty good enough. It's good enough. And the basketball facility they built for practice is top drawer stuff now. So I'm just saying, when I say infrastructure, I'm talking about the mentality, I don't know what it is, but I'm right there with the caller in that certainly in this day and age, when we're buying the talent, well, just as I said earlier, you got to buy the right product. You can go out and spend money on a player, and they can come in, they can't play dead in a cowboy movie. It's just like Steve Logan in recruiting before we were paying the players. I've gone out there many, many times and recruit a kid, and I thought, this guy's really going to be good for us. And I get him in the program, and all of a sudden I find out, guess what, Logan, you missed on that one. And it happens every day. Talent evaluation, acquisition of talent, and talent evaluation. That is the bedrock of your endeavor in the world of competitive athletics, in any business, really. If you've got an electronic business, a computer business, and your competitor is a computer business, and he's hiring better engineers than you are, you're going to lose. Talent matters, and then coaching matters after that. Coaching doesn't matter until you acquire talent, which, again, the previous caller mentioned the famous quote, you're not going to ride the jackass and win a Kentucky Derby. You got to have a thoroughbred. But guess what? A thoroughbred without a good trainer will flounder. That gets back, like we didn't even touch on the Bill Belichick drama that happened. But let me tell you something that makes my blood boil because I'm a coach. When I hear somebody say, well, Bill Belichick had Tom Brady, you damn right he did, you fool. And look what he did with him. That's the most ignorant thing. And I hear talk show radio hosts say stuff like that. Well, he had Tom Brady. Well, yeah, he did. And the coaching, along with the Tom Brady talent, produced 6 Super Bowl championships, and I think another 2 times they went to the Super Bowl or something ridiculous like that. And you say, well, Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. Well, let me tell you what, in the meantime, what Bill Belichick did. He won 10 National Football League football games with Mac Jones. Let that sink in. That's almost impossible because there's not a lot of talent there with Mac. He's at the best a quality second-team backup quarterback. He proved that again this year with the San Francisco 49ers. But he's not a 16, 17-game starter. So, again, all the way back to what started this conversation is acquiring talent and presenting a competitive basketball group anywhere but at East Carolina. Yeah, we are in a new era that should give the East Carolina basketball program a new chance to put a productive, competitive product on the basketball court. And we all know, can you imagine what that would do for the university? Seriously? It would work wonders. And it would matter. Let me tell you what, when I was coaching at East Carolina, I said this privately, one of the biggest detriments to my recruiting efforts at East Carolina was the basketball program. Because for years and years and years, we would bring recruits on campus on a basketball weekend, we wouldn't even take them to the game. Because they'd walk into a dead atmosphere, no energy. I didn't want those kids to see that. But those last couple of years when Coach Harrion suddenly presented us with just something competitive. Philip, what was Bill Harrion's records? What were his records at East Carolina? I remember them being 500-ish. Something like that.
Overall, he was 70 and 98.
Well,
last time at ECU.
But that sounds wonderful right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, I hear the Blues coming. We're coming up to a hard ending here. True, Philip?
Yep, 20 seconds.
20 seconds. I love everybody, and I appreciate everybody that called in. Enjoyed the show tonight. We got one more next week. I'll see y'all next Thursday, 5 o'clock. See you.
Your vehicle packs a load of safety features to protect you in an accident. At North